It usually takes me an hour or two to fall asleep. I was able to sleep earlier. I slept at 10:30 instead of sleeping at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I woke up actually fresh.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Fong, and this is the Clean Body Podcast. And I'm here today with Stuart Wright. He is the owner of Ceriset in Dublin. I'm really excited to meet with him to talk about this awesome procedure. My mom actually tested this out for me because she has been going through something where she's just kind of feeling a little anxious and she's been getting some heart palpitations. And so I thought this was a great candidate to test this out for me. And she's actually been feeling pretty good. And actually through the process, she was like, Diane, actually, I'm feeling a little bit different. And she's noticing that her responses to different stressors have been changed. And she said it's very subtle, but she's feeling different. So I really want to talk to Stuart today about, his journey to opening up a Ceriset in Dublin and what he's seen with his clients. So Stuart, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and how you became the owner of Ceriset in Dublin.
Well, it's sort of an interesting journey in that I was on a Zoom call with some other business associates, nothing to do with this industry or this kind of business at all. And a friend of mine was telling me her story. She had a traumatic story where she lost her husband and her kids went off the rails and drugs and, just everything was blowing up in her life. And she came on the call and it was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And she told me about it. And it was like, gosh, I got the time and I got the interest and got the money and let's just go check this thing out. I had no agenda. I didn't know what I was going to find, but I went up and boy, things started unfolding for me and I started noticing better energy, better mood. My sleep improved. I had better thinking ability. I found out all kinds of things. It was amazing.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about how Ceriset works.
Ceriset is a patented, proprietary, unique application for a modality of wellness. Now, they support and improve happiness and health, and they actually optimize HI. That's human intelligence. So if it is that you're worried about AI, you might think about improving HI. So that's sort of a fun little way to do that. We look at the areas of sleep, energy, mood, stress, and thinking. Most of us have something in that area that we're struggling with, and that's what this is actually doing. It takes technology and your own brain's innate ability to heal itself and puts those two together, and literally, we do nothing to you. We allow your brain, we just give it the support through technology.
Great. So can you describe the procedure to us? Tell us how it works. If I was going to go there today, how long is it? What happens during the process?
Interestingly enough, this is the funny part. You actually sit in a very comfortable chair. They call it an anti-gravity chair. We'll tilt you back. You get very comfortable. There's a couple little read-only kind of sensors that we put on different areas of your head. And from the standpoint of what it actually does, it's only reading where the energy in your brain is stuck. Now, a computer can get locked up. And what happens with a computer that gets locked up? Well, you turn it off and reset it. Well, clearly we don't turn your brain off, but we do allow your brain to relax during that. The sensors read where the energy is stuck. That information goes into the computer and instantaneously comes back as an audible tone to your ears. And when it is that your ears hear that tone, it goes, oh, wow, I can do something with that. It's much like if I held up a mirror in front of your face. You'd go, oh, great color on me. This is fine. I want to fix my hair. My hair is perfect. You'd make some instant assessments. Your brain does the same thing with that information. And that's where this is so unique. You literally can fall asleep in the chair and still get full benefit of the services.
Yeah, that's great. And my mom actually, the first night, well, before she had started the process, she was actually telling me, Diane, I've been having a hard time sleeping. And the first night, she said, she woke up the next morning, she said, Diane, I had really good sleep. I went to bed at 10 p.m. and I just slept through the night. I slept like a baby. Why did you want to do the Ceraset treatment?
Well, I feel like I don't have a lot of energy and I wanted to have more energy. I'm also not having a very good night's sleep. It usually takes me an hour or two to fall asleep, even if I'm already sleeping in my bed. Also, my stress level, I need to be able to control my emotions more so my stress level will go down.
And after you had a session yesterday, and the session is about 2 hours.
Yes.
And we'll see what that looks like in a minute. Did you notice any changes, any improvements?
Yes, right after the treatment, if I can call that a treatment, I felt calmer. And the whole night, actually, I felt like I'm more calm. I was able to sleep earlier. I slept at 10:30 instead of sleeping at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I woke up actually fresh.
So I definitely think some things were happening there. And I was with her during the entire process. And this was actually during Christmas. And so we were around our entire family, which normally, as for most people, it's a little triggering to be around your entire family. And my mom actually did notice that she was having less of those triggering responses, or at least her response to those maybe triggers were a little bit dampened. Can you explain why that may have happened? Why was she responding differently?
Well, the interesting thing about us as human beings, there's something called fight or flight or freeze. Those are two states that we get into, but they're survival states. We aren't supposed to get stuck in those states. But as human beings, we have a cerebral mind and we get stuck in those states. I haven't been attacked by a saber-toothed tiger in a long time, so why would I be stuck in that? And the interesting thing is we all get stuck in those states, but there's something that's in between that's called rest and digest. That's the state in between fight or flight or freeze. And that's where we're supposed to be when it is that we're calm, present, and responding, not reacting to our situation. Reactions are all the things that happen in the past or in the future that haven't happened to us, but they sort of are in our face. So Saraset takes those, spreads them back out to where they're supposed to be in the past or in the future, and allows us to be present. And that's what most modalities are trying to do for us. This one does it in a way that's unique, and your brain has the ability to do that when it's given the support.
I love it. This is something that we focus on so much at Cleanbody. For me, I really see it as a wall to healing when people are stuck in fight or flight. And, for the most part, when people have chronic disease, you're in fight or flight because you have symptoms that are also causing you to be in a stressful mode. But sometimes emotionally, you're also stuck there as well. And therefore, it really stops the healing process. So this is something I work on with my patients so much. And there's so many tools, as you mentioned.
Right.
Sometimes it's really hard to get there for some people. And I feel like there's a really big wall. And when we try meditation or we try yoga, there's a wall. So how does Ceraset kind of push through that wall and help people who are really having a hard time getting to that place of rest and digest? How does it do it differently than other modalities?
Well, it uses the brain's own innate ability. This is unique in that it literally works from the inside of your brain out. So what you were just describing, the dis-ease associated in the body shows up as symptoms in the body. And most doctors, pharmaceutical doctors and things like that are going to try to give you a pill to fix that. And it doesn't fix it, it disconnects it. So when we take a look at this, we find out where the energy's stuck. When the energy's stuck in fight or flight, cortisol or adrenaline are pumping down into the body to get you out of there so that you live for another day. Or the freeze state, different chemistry, but it's making you hunker down and be quiet, and maybe he won't see me and I'll live for another day. That's where the fight or flight or freeze state comes in. And when it is that those get relaxed, energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can get stuck. And when it gets stuck in the circuitry, then what Cereset does is allows it to relax and go back into a balanced state. And when that state happens, what we find is that people start talking about being calm, feeling present, the mind chatter quiets, their mood improves because we aren't distracted by I call it squirrel brain chatter. Everything going off. Most of us have that going on, and it's like, excuse me, what did you just say? I wasn't even listening, because our minds are so crazily going off about the 1,000 million different things that we have to do. So that's how it is. That's how it works. And it's sort of hard to fathom. My brain can fix itself, but the body does that anyway.
The body's amazing, right? The body wants to be fixed, wants to be balanced. And yet we do so many things to cause that imbalance. So this is wonderful. And it almost sounds to me a little bit like acupuncture, and how you would stick needles in certain places and certain meridians might be congested, and you're kind of opening up those channels, allowing them to flow. But this is maybe just, kind of doing something similar, but inside of the brain. So that sounds really interesting. And tell me, who can be helped by this? And I almost think everybody would be the answer. But if people had certain symptoms or certain ailments, insomnia, depression, PTSD, etc., have you seen success in your practice with certain types of diseases?
Oh my gosh. You say that, in my joke is, you on your site, you say, who can I help? Everyone, right? That's what you say yourself for your practice. That's true too. And I jokingly say, in all seriousness, other than scarecrows. So it is something for everybody. So if the list of the people that you just said have concerns or issues, those are exactly who we help. We have tons of white papers. We have all kinds of studies, clinical trials, peer reviews. Those are all on the website. If you go to that and you're that kind of person that wants to research and dig deep, oh my gosh. Lee's been doing this. He's the founder of the company, Lee Gertis. He's been doing this for over 25 years. We've helped over 180,000 clients get back to a place where they're more balanced, rest and digest, and they're working and functioning and going out in the world in a refreshed way. So if you've got a challenge, we'll work with you.
And, almost every ailment is, our brain controls everything. So almost every ailment, has a place in some, congestion and probably the the nervous system process. So, I'm sure it can also help just, every chronic illness that's out there. So how long, if somebody's going to decide to do this, how long is the initial treatment? How long before they expect to see some changes? And what does maintenance look like? Because I'm sure there's, you don't just kind of do it and then you're done. You want to also maintain brain health as well.
Oh, absolutely. What we typically do with people is we'll take a health assessment, and it's just asking some questions and finding out what is actually going on for the person. After we do that and we get the understanding that there are certain medications that will mask the brain's ability to do that. And we always work with the doctors to make sure that the medications that they're on or supplements that they're taking are monitored by the doctor, so that, we aren't doctors. We don't do that kind of thing. But we want to make sure that you understand what it is that's going on. So the sessions themselves, there's 5 of them initially that we get I'll call it a foundation laid. Those are done over a period of a month. 4 of them are done in the first week, back to back. They're about 2 hours apiece. And then in 3 weeks, we'll have you come back for, quote unquote, the first tune-up session. And what that actually does is refreshes the brain to go back to, oh yeah, I remember how that worked. And then in that way, you get the benefit of the foundation, and then it builds on itself and it continues to accumulate. Now, you ask the question, how quickly can somebody see results? Gosh, out of the first session, we have people say, oh my gosh, I feel so much more relaxed from when I came in. And that's, within 2 hours. Now, I've seen people sit in my chair. I just looked overhead it. I see people sitting in my chair on day 1 with just the weight of the world on their face. by day 4, day 5, oh my gosh, hope, happiness, and possibility have started to show up. They're smiling. Years look like they just melt off of their face because they are now functioning well. The idea of what we do, this isn't a one and done. This isn't a magic wand where we wave it over you and you're fixed forever. Life is full of trauma. Life is full of stress. And when you go out, you get bumped up again and you get bumped and bruised. Well, that's why this is such an important thing, because it can be refreshed. If somebody comes back every 3 months, every 6 months, great, that's fine. If it is that the situations are such and their incidents that they want to adjust, then those are the kind of things that we would do. If somebody's had a chronic illness for 30 years or insomnia for 30 years, it's not going to get fixed like that. You're going to have to come back again and again and again. If that's on a weekly basis or every 2 weeks, a month basis, what they refer to as tune-ups. Nothing in the world doesn't need maintenance. We're no different.
Do you recommend people do this alongside therapy, or do you see that if people do it alongside therapy, you see an improved outcome, or do you feel like this therapy stands alone really well?
Well, the interesting thing about that is we're trying to show people that this is actually something that works. So when we talk to people and we coach them through this first month, we ask them, please restrain from doing any other modalities, because we don't want to mix up a cocktail. If it is that we're using 3 or 4 or 5 different modalities, we won't know which one really did what. So we say, okay, just take a break, a time out. If it is that you have been doing therapy or whatever it is, take a time out from that. This is supportive to every other modality. We just want to give you a snapshot that this did XYZ for you. So when it is that somebody goes through the process, they can reinstate whatever it was they were doing if that has been supportive. Chiropractic, acupuncture, therapy, life coaches, all, it's funny. I've had clients go through and sit in the chair and say, oh my gosh, my therapist got better. And it's like, well, how'd that happen? Your therapist got better? Your ears opened up and you were able to hear what your therapist was saying and take action, because your brain is now relaxed and open to the suggestion instead of, I can't hear you, you're dad.
I love it. And I feel that in talking to my mom, I feel like there has been change. It's really interesting. And just even hanging out with her through the holidays, and she doesn't live locally to me. So, and she was staying with me. And so, I really could kind of see some of the changes. She just kind of seemed more calm. We traveled together through the holidays, and, things that would normally just totally, she would just kind of, she just was like, oh, that's fine. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really working.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
So very cool. And she's very excited to actually come back and visit and maybe do, the tune-up that you mentioned. She sees the difference. So I'm really excited to share this information with my patients and my followers. So where can we reach you if we live in the Bay Area? Just to let you guys know, we actually commuted from Redwood City to Dublin for this. And, I asked my mom, like, so is it worth it? Is it worth it? All the commute we did? She said, oh, absolutely. I do feel different. So, I feel like if you're in the Bay Area, this is a great option for you. And there are Sarasets in other locations, but specifically Stuart's place is in Dublin. So how do we reach you? What's your website? Where else can we find you?
The website is interesting. Ceraset, nobody knows how to spell it, but it's simple in that CE as in cerebral, reset, CERESET.com. Then you can go to the locations at the top of the page and you can find us that way. We're in Dublin. You can look up Ceraset Dublin and that will come up. The phone number you can reach me at, and I'm sort of old school, please call me. I'd rather talk to you and find out specifically what's going on than texts or emails or whatever. This isn't a text number. It's a landline, but it's 925-587-8038. So if you call me, I'm with clients most of the time. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can within a few hours or within that day typically. And I'll spend some time with you. I'll take as much time as you need to go through what it is that you have concerns with. So that's about the easiest way to get a hold of me. And again, please talk to me. I help people understand that this is something unique, because everybody goes, is it like this? Is it like that? No, it's unique. It truly is unique.
I agree. When I first talked to you, I said, okay, so what's it like? What does it do? And you said, I think you just need to try it. So I think, witnessing my mom go through it was really great. And I think as an outside observer looking in, and then also getting her experience, it was a great, way to just kind of experience the treatment. So I really highly recommend it, especially if you're kind of just feeling stuck with getting to the rest and digest place, on your own with meditation. And I find this in so many of my patients. So I think this is really a helpful tool.
The interesting thing is, if you want verification, there's testimonials.saraset.com, and that will pull up more testimonials than you'll want to say. They're long in length if you can sit through them. But more than anything, just you gotta let us build some trust with you. And so the way that works is literally, if you need to come in for what we refer to as our introduction, we're going to offer that to your podcast listeners for free. It's normally a $200 value. For the first 20 people that give us a call and set up a time, I want to make sure that people find out what this is, because when they do, the introduction literally is a read-only. It helps you go through what we do with the tests and all those kind of things. And we literally show you the science on the screen of what it is that this is doing. So that's a super way to sort of go, well, I don't know if I want to get into it. You can't go wrong for free.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Stuart. Oh, everybody who's listening, I would say jump on that right now. We will put all the links in the captions right here. So we'll put the white paper link, the Ceriset link, and then the telephone number to reach Stuart. So thank you, Stuart, so much for doing this. And I think this is such an amazing thing you're doing in the world. Oh, you have something else to say.
One other thing, because you've been listening this long, we'll make a special offer. We'll give you 10% off the package of 5 sessions. Okay, wait a sec. Let's do 15% off on a package of sessions for the first 10 people that call and mention that they saw this on Dr. Fong's podcast.
All right. Well, this is amazing. And if you resonated with what we were saying today, I really highly recommend you jump on this, because as I mentioned, I have seen some amazing things happen with my mom. And I think if you're really hitting those walls, I think this is a great tool. But even if you're not, I think that this could be a wonderful thing for everybody to just kind of reset the brain and get to a place where you're in rest and digest mode. So thank you so much, Stuart. That's so amazing.
Dr. Fong, it's my pleasure. Together, you and I bringing wellness to the world. Hey, who knows? A well place, a well world. It's going to be a happy place for everyone.
Exactly. And let's just end on that, because that is what we are both here for. And I love it. And I'm really excited to hear about my followers and my patients who come to see you. And
I will tell you,
more people in rest and digest mode and in a happy place, because that is a healing place. Thank you so much, Stuart.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.